in the doctor's office with this intense searing pain down your arm, you know it's a result of a underlying problem in your neck. It's something that has been there for years. For decades, you've ignored the neck pain, the stiffness, the headaches that have been going on to a point that now you are panicked that something more severe is going wrong. And to your not surprise, the surgeon says, you know what? This is one of those cases that's just going to require surgery. You see, you've lost that connection with your spouse because of the inability to engage in life. You've given up lots of little things over the years because you haven't been able to actually do them. Simple, basic activities with your spouse. Going out on a date night to be able to enjoy was shadowed by the pain. It was shadowed by the inability to sit still, to engage in a conversation, to actually be there and be present for your spouse. It was the activities with your kids that you gave up. Bit by bit, you wouldn't throw the baseball because that arm and your neck hurt too bad afterwards. It was bit by bit that you'd fall asleep because you were so worn out of the pain that you missed out on game night with those kiddos. It was work that you started to shy away and ask other people to do things for you that you could no longer do. Trying to hold on to your ego, trying to hold on to what was left, not letting anybody know that you had an issue that you knew was deep. An issue that you knew needed some treatment, but you ignored it. Even worse yet, you numbed it out with some pain meds for as long as you could. And worse yet, the problem progressed to a point that pain is not only down your arm, but is starting to impact the organs. That same nerve that is searing down your arm actually connects to and controls your thyroid. But you haven't been able to see that. The hair loss, the skin and nail problem, the excessive weight gain, mainly because of all of these symptoms were ignored. What would you do? What would you do if you could have it all back? What would you do differently? You see, I find that people, oftentimes when they're in the worst case scenario, would pay any amount of money, would do anything to go back and do what is necessary to not be in the situation that they're at. Now, of course, hindsight is 20/20. We get that. We understand that concept that hindsight is 20/20, but you often don't get that back. But if you're listening to this right now, you can get that back. Because you can actually move in a direction that you don't have to go down that path. You literally can change your direction right now if you choose to do so. A mentor of mine was listening to his use of chiropractic care, and he was talking about with his family, spends roughly $13,000 a year cash for his family, including his new infant getting adjusted. We see some people doing that in our office. So it is rare, but it's not uncommon. But the concept that started to unfold with $13,000 in chiropractic care was the idea that this was an insurance policy. For this individual, he says, I don't get adjusted, I don't get chiropractic care because I'm in pain. I move the direction so that I do not have the pain. I do not have the disaster down the road. This ensures my ability to produce as a father. This ensures my ability to be able to produce at my workplace. This ensures my ability to produce as a husband. And the concept was that intimacy with the wife was a lot better with chiropractic care. The ability to engage with kids, to be able to focus, to be able to have conversations and not be worried about the pain is at an elevated level. The ability to stay athletic, to stay strong, to be able to do the basic things around the house, the chores. You see, chiropractic could be looked at as one of two ways. One, as trying to manage pain, trying to avoid the disasters that are going, or trying to actually ensure that you never go down that path. And it is time and time again that we continue to have people looking toward chiropractic as a form of medicine, in the aspect of like, look, this is really bad. Just give me that one adjustment because I think it's healthier than taking a medication, that one adjustment that can make this go away. So there is a tip and a trick in this. And it's not all about chiropractic. Although, if you are not staying adjusted, if your spine is not in a healthy position, you have an option by hearing this right now to move into an element of actually avoiding disaster, to actually cash in on an insurance policy that science continues to unveil, that you will prevent and avoid disaster down the road if you can get your spine in a healthy position and maintain that. And that is done through regular chiropractic care. But here's the battle. Right now you have a disaster brewing in your life, and it could be within your body where chiropractic could plug in. It could be in the aspect that you've let your body slip so far that your body weight and body composition has shifted to an unhealthy matter. It could be in a relationship that you have not put the time in, you have not put the effort in, and it's about ready to blow like a disc in the neck that puts pressure on the nerves and starts to destroy life. It could be at your workplace where you're not actually doing the work that's necessary. You know that you need to step up, but you're not doing it. And here's the tip and the trick for today, is asking yourself the question of where could I do the work now to avoid the disaster in the future? Because every day I show up in my office, we are mitigating and managing these disasters that have already happened. And these people are looking back and saying, if I only knew. And they said, well, the symptoms were there, were they not? So don't claim the victim that you didn't know. You didn't listen. That is a different story. You ignored the symptoms. And so the challenge for you today is, where are you ignoring symptoms in a relationship? Where are you ignoring symptoms of your body? Where are you ignoring symptoms at work? Where are you ignoring symptoms in your purpose and your spirituality that you know, as you're listening to this, that if you do not make a change, disaster is inevitable. Disaster will settle in to a point that you'll be standing there in a doctor's office. You'll be standing there, sitting there in front of an attorney, signing divorce papers. You'll be sitting there as your boss lets you go. You'll be sitting there wondering where you went wrong with your kids and your relationship that you could ultimately change right now. That you could engage at a different level. So for you, today you're going to get to work. You're going to do something in one of those areas, or all of those areas, or just a couple of those areas, that's going to fundamentally change the future. You're not going to be that victim that sits in an office waiting for the bad news. You're not going to be the victim of a disease, of a divorce, of a kid that's gone awry looking for a relationship somewhere other than with you. You're not going to be the one that's going to be fired, because you're going to do the work today. And today you're going to sit down and write specifically on one or all areas of what you can do to make a change. If it's in your body, you're going to list out, I got back pain. I need to get that checked out. And get real with the facts. Who better to check out a back than a chiropractor? So you seek out a chiropractor that actually can do an analysis and show you the facts of where you're at. If it's a stomach issue, you're going to get to the facts of the stomach issue. If it's a body composition issue, you're going to sit down and you're going to write about the facts of where you're at in your body. You're going to write down the facts of where you're at with your relationship, with your spouse, with your kids, with your work, how you've been showing up, what have you been doing that is putting you in the position that you're at, that you know that this is headed for disaster. And then you pound a stake in the road, put up a sign, and one points to disaster, and the other is disaster avoided. A life lived to the full. And so on the other side of that sheet of paper, you're going to write what you need to do specifically to change the course, change the direction of the disaster path that you're headed on. That's it. If you are ignoring symptoms in your body, in your relationships, in your spirituality, in your workplace, it's time to take those symptoms and look at them for what they are as a warning sign for you. They're a warning sign for you to get down and dirty and say, look, I need to listen to this. Just like you're driving down the road and you have a check engine light come on, you're like, I gotta do something about that. Because you know if you avoid it, it's going to cost a lot more time, a lot more money, and a lot more energy down the road to correct an even worse case scenario, not be able to correct down the road. Oftentimes we see people with diseases and conditions that they can't buy themselves out of. Which yet they can't even work themselves out of. There's no amount of work, there's no amount of time, there's no amount of effort, there's no amount of money that's going to change it for them. Do not let yourself go down that path. And so let it be a warning today of what you would have done is what you do today. What you would have done in the divorce prior to getting divorced. What you would have done in your body prior to your body getting so sedated, overweight, and out of shape. What you would have done with your back pain, what you would have done at work. You do it today. And you make a list of exactly what needs to be done to not be in the position that we see so many people. That is the tip and the trick of the day, bringing you love and light, shedding some truths on life to lead you down a path of more thriving and not just surviving. You do the work today and you change the trajectory of your life. You don't, and you continue down the path of destruction. Totally up to you.